Palisades, recovery efforts there also continuing in Pacific Palisades. This really does hit home and very close for developer Rick Caruso.
Yeah, he joins us live, and we appreciate your time here this afternoon, Mr. Caruso.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks, Colleen.
As we mentioned, you are a part of this community, and you launched the nonprofit Steadfast LA. Where does the rebuilding process stand right now?
Well, as we're sitting here for 6 months, and I run very optimistic as a human being, but the city is not making it very easy to get building permits. We've done a lot at Steadfast. We have an AI model that we contributed to the city and the county and also Malibu, which will do plan check in a matter of hours that normally take a matter of months. The city has not fully adopted that yet. But the real issue is the culture and the attitude. You've got to wipe the tables clean of red tape. You've got to move resources into the Palisades now that allow people to get their permitting in one shop locally, not having people drive across town to do that. And so all of these things need to start falling into place. And you got thousands of homes in the Palisades and in Altadena and hundreds in Malibu that have been destroyed. And I know in the Palisades alone in the city of Los Angeles, less than 100 building permits have been issued. You know, that just is a terrible metric that shows the lack of coordination, the lack of a plan that the city has. And the county, quite frankly, I don't think is doing much better. So we're leaning in as much as we can on Steadfast, but there has to be more. There's got to be a plan. There's got to be a sense of urgency to allow people to get to rebuild.
Rick, you're talking about the city and the county here. You heard the governor today talk about breaks in terms of property taxes and construction costs. Is the state doing enough? Are the feds doing enough here?
Well, the feds, I don't think, are existent. And we've got the state has made a claim into the White House, into the feds of $40 billion plus for the recovery effort. It hasn't gone anywhere. So, you know, shame on the federal government. They need to be providing resources to help people rebuild, to help the city and the county get the power lines underground, the infrastructure put in place, the roads redone. The lack of damage to the infrastructure is massive, and the city and the county alone are not going to be able to pay for that. So we need the feds. The state, I think, has done a fairly good job. But listen, I think what's happened, honestly, Colleen, is as time passes, people don't have the same level of urgency. And we need to get that urgency back, and people need to start demanding that their elected officials be held accountable and be out there, and let's make things happen. And you're going to make things happen by getting the schools open, which I actually give a shout out to LA Unified. I think is pushing hard to get the schools open. A shout out to the Army Corps of getting the cleanup done in a very timely basis. But again, the city and the state and the county can do a better job. We don't even have a recovery plan that I don't think anybody has seen in the city of Los Angeles. And we don't have a recovery czar that we were promised to lead that recovery effort. The last one was fired 90 days ago, and nobody's been replaced yet. And that's not a good sign.
You know, on social media just this morning, you're reiterating a lot of what you posted. You said residents are stuck in this endless red tape at City Hall. Thousands of homes lost, yet only 100 building permits issued. Where do you expect us to be 6 months from now?
Well, at the pace it's going, Michael, I think we're going to get Palisades and Altadena rebuilt in about 400 years. I mean, you just can't operate at this pace. I mean, we have a good amount of influence that we've earned in this city, and we have a tough time getting through his City Hall. So we've had dozens and dozens of residents calling us for help that have plans into the city of the exact same home that burnt down that aren't getting automatically approved. Mm-hmm. What's happening clearly to me is there's a lack of leadership of putting into place processes and protocols that timely work through these requests and get them approved. And there should be a whole group of employees in City Hall that are just dedicated to the recovery efforts of getting building permits approved. Because you're not going to get these communities back. As time goes on, people are going to start migrating to other areas, and they're going to stay there. And so we've got to get the schools open. We've got to get the parks open. We've got to get the commercial districts open and small businesses reopen so people can come back and feel like they're part of a community that will give them the hope, is what people need more than anything, the hope so that they rebuild their home. Because whether you're in Altadena or Malibu or the Palisades, these were dear communities that people miss. They miss their lifestyle, and we've got to bring it back for them as quickly as possible.
Rick, you had family members who lost homes or had damaged homes. How's the progress going on that?
It actually is sad to say, but if you've lost your home, it's easier to deal with the insurance company than it is to your prior report that just came up. My son has a home that's damaged with smoke damage, and that is a very tough discussion going on with the insurance company versus my daughter, whose home was completely burned down. So you've got to battle with these insurance companies. And I completely agree with the lady that was on before in Altadena. It's absolutely frustrating in dealing with the insurance companies. And this is where the mayor, the county supervisors, and the governor need to step in. They should be in the CEO's office at State Farm, demanding that CEO to be more responsive to the people that have been paying insurance premiums for years. This is when you need your insurance company the most. And our elected officials need to be their advocates in that CEO's office.
All right, Rick Caruso.